In this video, we're going to look at loops using what's called a Sentinel value. And all a Sentinel value is some value from the user to indicate when to end the loop. A couple videos back, we had a loop where we actually used do they wish to continue, and entered in a y, lowercase or uppercase. Basically, that was a Sentinel value, something to indicate whether we want to continue or not. So I'm going to give a couple of examples here, explain a little more as we go along. Here I'm going to create a loop, right? And we're going to just do it on an integer value this time. We'll call it the sent value, and we're going to initialize it to a 0, let's say, and we're going to say while the sent value is not equal to a -1. Alright, and it's currently a 0, so it's not a -1. So enter loop and should execute the loop multiple times until we finally get input from the user. And all we're going to do is tell the user to enter a value. Alright. And we need a variable, we'll call it value. And let's add another one that we'll use shortly. So we're getting the value, and it's just going to keep going. Right? We'll worry about the sum in a second. Just to show you the Sentinel value, how it works. Oops, we don't want to do that value. That's where we're wrong. Let me change that, sorry. This is actually, should be sent value. We don't need value then, right? No. Alright, this is one way of using a Sentinel value. Alright, so now if we go ahead and run this, you'll see that, alright, prompting us, oops, for input, and we can enter a value 6, and it keeps going as long as the value is not a -1. But as soon as I hit a -1, the program ends. So it's a Sentinel value, again, is just something that allows us to stop a loop. Alright, I added the sum in there just to kind of go back to a running total here. Alright, that will keep the sum going. We can then output the sum, we can do the average again. Right, all those things that we did in one of the other videos. We'll just do the sum. Alright, and there is one problem with this, the way it's written right now. And once we run it, and what you can see is it's always adding the Sentinel value in. So when we enter that -1, oops, program crashed on me. And there's that example. Need that 0 there. Alright. Alright, trying to move a little too fast here. So with that set to 0 now, the sum will work correctly. Alright, so 5, 6, 7, -1. So you add those up, you got 11 plus the 7 is 18. So the sum should be 18, but you're going to see it's going to be 17. Alright, because it included the -1. Well, we don't want the -1 because that's telling the user that we're done doing input. I want to see what the sum is. So this really should be surrounded by an if statement. If sent value not equal to a -1. Alright, that way it won't add it into the sum. Alright, we'll show you that real quick again. Right, and the Sentinel value is always a value that is not a valid input. Right? In this case, maybe it's grade scores we're entering or something, so they shouldn't be negative scores. Right, so again, some values 5, 6, and 7. That should be 18. Right, I'm going to enter a -1 now, and there's the 18. Alright, so we got to protect against it, and you can use a combination of the while, the do while if you want. Right. For loop doesn't work well here because it's really a counting loop. So this is typically when we use do while. Again, we can use this as we did before, asking the user do they wish to go again, looking for a Y or an N kind of thing, a letter or something. tricky part is trying to find what this value is, something that's not a valid input for the program.